It's a really weird feeling being owned by a team. Is this how Chicago feels? All right. Oh. So, as you saw in the intro, Battlehawks are 0-2 against DC. They don't play them anymore this year. So that means if, for some reason, the Battlehawks make it to the postseason, they have to go to DC to try to get past them. Fun. Doing a little bit differently. I'm putting both up on the screen. Yeah, no real reason. I mean, I could just like, boom, intro. No, just doing a little bit differently. I got my first two games wrong, and I want to talk about Houston last. I got some stuff. I actually, just before I recorded this, I just watched the highlights for that. Because I wasn't able to catch that game live. But we had a pretty good tank ball between the Guardians and the Vipers. It was 35-32 for a final score. So, I said last week, I said, hey, it's going to be a bad game. You got two of the worst teams in the league. But they might show up. They might play good against each other. And lo and behold, 35-32. Look at that. Look at that. High-scoring game. For two of the worst teams in the league. And we have officially established that the Guardians are the worst team in the league. So, there we go. In a couple weeks, I will wear a tie. And, as I talked about last week, we'll hold a funeral for them. Because they're going to be the first ones eliminated. And it might come at like week 7 or 8. So, when it is official, when they are officially going 0-7 or something like that, I will do a little funeral episode, recapping and talking about them. I might even give them their own episode. We'll see. And then I got the Renegade beating the Brahmas correctly. Brahmas, whatever. No, it's Brahmas. It's still weird to think of that. All I know is it's some sort of cattle. That's like all I know about it. So, yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't think we have any Brahmas here in Wisconsin, at least not that I know of. I think it's like a Texas thing. I don't quote me. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, off the rails. Woohoo! Anyway, Renegades beat them. It was it 12-10? Worst. This is like the second worst game ever in the history of 2023 XFL. So this whole year, this whole year. But yeah, I think we had I think it was Dragons and Viper said. I think it was 6-9, I believe. And just above that, 12-10. Really, really fun games. So. Yeah, just like the bottom of the NFL. That's what this feels like. That's what this game was. DC again came in guns ablazing. It was 14-3 at half, I believe. Battlehawks just did not have a lot going for them. Could not get a lot going. Really struggled. Pain. So much pain. It ended up being 28-20 because the Battlehawks actually turned on the Jets in the second half, but they were too far behind by that point. I feel like a Packers fan. Oh, my team is crumbling. But the big, enormous shocker for the week is the Seattle Sea Dragons at home upsetting the Houston Roughnecks. And they allowed 14 points. I want to put this into perspective because, again, I just watched the highlights just before I recorded this. The Roughnecks did not score any points. Any points. Not even a field goal. Well, I think it was 2 touchdowns. Anyway, point is, they had no points for 3 quarters. The Sea Dragons locked their asses down. Somehow. This was the high-flying best offense in the league, and it takes them 4 quarters to put up 6 points. Well, then they put up another, touchdown. Point is, though, nothing was happening. Now, there was a bunch of, turnovers and whatnot. There was some pocked blunts. There was some blocked punts and whatnot, setting up the Sea Dragons, inside their own 10 and whatnot. But the Sea Dragons could have put up 30. The Roughnecks had, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions in the end zone. So easily, if the Sea Dragons, if it was a little more competent, QB a little more competent, they could have put up 30-some points on the Roughnecks. Where did that offense go? And it's not like, the defense was super bad. I mean, they allowed, I think it was, 14-0 at halftime. And they only allowed 7 points in the second half, or 7 total points. So, like, I don't want to put all the blame on the defense because, like, they didn't do it that bad. I mean, they average, allowing around 20-some points, a game. That's what they've been averaging their opponents. So it makes sense. 21's right around there, right around the average. I think maybe a little bit higher than the average. Point is, though, the offense just, it looked like a high school offense going up against a college offense. It was so weird. Like, that offense, again, that looked like, oh my God, it's NFL flying high, super amazing, scoring a bunch of points in all these teams, best team in the league, replace them with the Texans in the NFL. They were high, flying high. And then all of a sudden, it takes them 4 quarters to put up 2 touchdowns. I don't know what happened. I watched the highlights and I can't process what the heck happened. They look so good for 4 weeks coming into week 5. I'm like, oh yeah, they might go undefeated. They might go 10-0. They might walk into the championship game. Now I'm sitting here thinking, are they even going to make it past the, division round of the of the playoffs? Because there's no wild card. It's only a division and then the championship game. Are they even gonna, are they gonna make it that far? Like, yes, you're 4-1, so I think that they can, continue a streak and make the playoffs. What happens if you run into a team that's like, oh yeah, you remember what Seattle did to you in week 5? Yeah, we're just gonna do that again. And I still can't Seattle played good defense. Like, they played their hearts out for this game. And it makes no sense to me how a team can just crumble. They just fell off a cliff and just plummeted down 7,000 feet. I don't understand how the heck Houston looks so bad this week. Now, I believe it was a short week. I believe this game was on Friday, I believe. So even that, it's still like, hey, like it's still, almost enough time. 5 days. I think they played on Sunday. Maybe they played on Saturday, so maybe they had 6 days to practice. I can't. My mind can't process what happened to Houston this week after 4 weeks of dominance. It's so weird. It is so weird to just see that. So, and next week I have it all set up, and you'll see my picks tomorrow on Wednesday. And they play DC. DC, coming into week 5, DC was my second, number 2 on my power rankings, right behind Houston. What happens if week 5 Houston Roughnecks show up against the DC Defenders? I might be, there might be a new king in town after this. We'll see. We'll see how they can play against the, another top tier team in the league. If they look like this, they're getting knocked down badly. They'll probably still be 2 just because, I had Battlehawks at 3, but DC just kind of took care of them. But yes, for now, first 2 games went 0-2, second 2 games went 2-2, so 15-5 on the year. Houston, God, my brain, I don't know how to process. I seriously, I can't think of it. And I get it, it's a new league. And, part of it's like I still have the NFL mindset of like, hey, if these teams are good, they're probably going to be good all season. This could be, hey, look at the Seattle Sea Dragons turning a corner and suddenly they're, a top tier team too. But it can happen in the NFL. But usually by mid-season, you start to think, okay, these teams are ahead of the pack. These teams are not. But there's teams in the middle. They're like, okay, maybe they could go up here. But can they contend with the number 1 and number 2 team in the league? And, sometimes it's like, hey, they can. They can hold it. They can dance with them. They can fight with them. They can hold their own. And then sometimes it's like, okay, no, they just, overachieved and they fell back down. So, we'll see. Houston does not I think they're on the road next week too. So, not an easy task, especially after that loss. Very tough. Good luck to Houston. It was a really interesting loss on their end. So for now, like the video, share the video around, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.